Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to everyone. Doing it out of order today. Hope everyone's had a great week. It's good to be back here with another episode of YouTube Creator News. We've got some news topics to discuss today. A little bit of extra things, a little bit here, a little bit there. Sort of some breaking information that's come through in the last 24 hours to share a little bit of. We don't know a lot, but we're going to share that as well. So how has everybody been this week? I hope you've had a good one. I've had a busy one, like the last 24 hours. I did quite a long drive last night. This time last night, I was nowhere near Brisbane, put it that way. So yeah, back at it. Normal Saturday happening again. We're doing all the things. We're going to jump into chat, see who's here, and then we'll crack on with it. You might see something a little extra at the bottom today that's a bit of an alternative to a new YouTube feature that they're testing. But this is something that we're doing in-house, something that we're doing on the stream only. And I forgot to push up the background music. Oh, it's funny. Thank you. All the music courtesy of Creator Mix. You can see in the top left there, right above my head, is the track that is presently playing. I can't even say it. I can't get that out of my mouth today. Okay, let's jump in. We need to say good day to a few people. Let's start with off on YouTube one coming in before the stream, and also just before the stream, Kevin Hawthorne in the house. Welcome to the stream. We also have Larry Home Rapid Repair is here saying good morning USA, good evening Australia. G'day to the rest of the globe. That pretty much covers it. Live Stream Consultants is here as well. Welcome. Creator Classroom is here. Good morning. There's already some gifts being played. Thinking about having my husband put up my new mysterious product today. Haven't told anyone what it is, deciding if I like it before sharing what it is. Well, that's a good point. Sometimes you get excited about the new shiny thing just because it's a new shiny thing, and that's cool. But if it's something, yeah, which you could still share, I think. But when it comes to, is this going to look like a recommendation? Yeah, you want to make sure that you're happy with it. That does the job. Alice is here. Look at it, waving hands. There we go. Monica's here as well. Coming to us from Poland, of course. Let's see. Here we go. Coming in. Chantel Hills is here as well. Your overlays are overlaying today. Yes, I hope so. I hope so. Also, Ollie Smith is here. Welcome. And oh yeah, it's sort of in the preview, the creator board was sitting a little lower, but it somehow moved up. So yeah, I can you know what? I can fix that on the fly. With Ecamm, that's easy. Let's grab it. Just drag it up a bit. There we go. There we go. Look at that. And then we'll just remove that a bit. So you can see that's a little better. I can just sit on top there. How this leaderboard works, I've just been playing with it in Social Stream Ninja, another Social Stream Ninja feature. I thought I had a little bit of time to kill before the stream. I was all set up, I was prepared. And so I'm like, let me just have a look through. Because Social Stream Ninja always updating things and adding bits and pieces, and maybe something that I haven't played around with before. And not sure how they've got something that they call leaderboard, same as YouTube's leaderboard. But this is like a built-in one, and I've gone for the across the bottom ticker. They have versions that can be like an overlay that'll sit in a corner, or a large one that sits across the screen, so you can bring it up and then pull it away. I thought I'd just leave like the ticker one there. I did set it for to show the top 10, but of course it's only fitting 5 in there, so I don't know what. I guess I have to shrink it down to make it fit. I'm not sure. Things to be worked out. I hope you've all had a good week, which I've said probably for this is probably the third time I've said that already. And as always, just a reminder, you can ask questions throughout the show. It is a Q&A show, so anytime you have questions, make sure you drop it in the chat, put a Q in front of it so I know it's a question for me and not just part of the wonderful things that are going on in the chat, all the conversations. Let's have a look here. I think I saw a question. Yeah. Originally, it was supposed to like sit right across the bottom, but I don't know why it's changed position since it must look different once it's actually got like inputs in it. Once the chat gets moving, basically interaction in the chat affects the leaderboard basically. So it's the basic gist is the same as YouTube, but not scoring with the same amount of experience points. So that's the basic way how it works. I don't know how well. I guess every time you comment, you get a point, is what I'm guessing, just based on what I'm seeing there right now. So we shall see. We shall see. We'll just monitor that as we go through the stream. Yeah, did I see a question? I was looking for a question here. I don't think it had a Q in front of it, but I thought I was going to sneeze for a second, so I muted my microphone. Actually, that wasn't even the mute. That was the solo button. So I even hit the wrong button. Okay. I think the summertime is the time where I tend to experiment with new things because it's been almost a year since I started a newsletter membership. Yeah. Sometimes summer periods might mean a little bit more time to do extra things like that for whatever reason. Different things happen at different times of the year. Obviously, if you've got kids that are at school, then summertime is maybe some of it busier for some people. Different seasons for different lifestyles and different places and different parts of the world. Does it give out coins when you hit certain metrics? That'd be lovely. Gold coins. That'd be lovely. I don't think it does anything. I think it's bragging rights at the moment. It's just it's just the leaderboard itself. I guess beyond that, a creator could use that as, implement a reward for the top person. But if people figure out how to game it, then, it becomes less fun. But we're just trialing it to see what it does for the stream. Oh, that's not good. Fell down your steps. You don't want to do that. I filmed a bunch of videos this week. Took my mother-in-law to surgery. Yeah, busy week. Busy week. There's always busy. As far as I know, it didn't ask me to set any sort of limits, so it's not limited. So I'm assuming every time you comment, drop a Social Stream Ninja command or anything like that, you're going to get a point, and that'll just keep accruing over time. That's going to be my guess. It updates I think it's set to update every 10 seconds. All right, we got cues. We got questions. I'll be researching YouTube partner program shopping this week. Do you have any recommendations for that? Gee, because we don't have it here in Australia, I'm not enough familiar with it. I know Eileen Smith would probably be a good person to talk to about that, who's in the chat here. But for me, I don't know. I don't have a lot to do with it. I do have access to somebody's back end that does have that because they're in the US. But I haven't had a good play. But I don't want to really play with it. But I haven't had a look at it. So that's a good question though. Yeah. For the YouTube leaderboard, yeah. It was good. I was in Roberto's stream today modding. I think I was the only mod actually, and I didn't even notice the leaderboard, even though because I'd opted out. Even though the crown's up there, I can go and still look at the list. It wasn't. What happens is you don't see the crowns on people's names as well. Or maybe you do. Maybe I'm thinking of a different stream. I might be thinking of a different stream where I did see them on. I'm not sure. Well, we're still learning about these things. We're still bragging rights. Absolutely, bragging rights for the win. What else we got here? YouTube shopping has been growing nicely for me. This is Larry. I think it's a perfect option for someone who won't scroll down to the description or doesn't like Amazon. True. And as you mentioned, I know you mentioned to me and a few other people that the commissions per sale on a lot of items are better than Amazon. So that's cool. So if you can get it scaling, that's a win. That's a win. Linking up a merch store. Yeah. Oh, okay, I can do that. I've done that. I have I've actually got 2 stores linked. But they're both. But the main one, of course, is the spread shop, and with the mugs and the stickers and the shirts and whatnot, a few other things. Gotcha. Yeah, I've called it Creator Board. I just had to give it a name. I could give it a name, any name. I could call it the Elite, or to make it sound real posh or something. But Creator Board, because it's a play on leaderboard. Not very creative, but that's what I went with. Oh, good conversation chat. Well, we've got a bit in YouTube news to get to today. As always, we always check in with Creator Insider for the week. And quite often we find out that they're talking about the things we talked about last week. But we're going to jump into that in just a second. Before I do that, I need to take a sip. Current leader on the Creator Board is Creator Classroom with 17 points. In second place, Live Stream Consultants with 13 points. And third, Home Rapid Repair, Larry with 6. That is the current rankings, top 3. I thought I'd mention that. All right. What we need to do, if I remember, is jump into the overview. Here we go. Creator Insider Newsflash, and then we'll take off all the extra bits and make them disappear, just so we can get so we don't get clutter on the screen while we're talking about some of the news stories. Okay, that's a little bit loud in my ears. Creator Insider Newsflash this week had 3. They're averaging 3 a week now. It's still very quiet. Usually, the first half of the year hasn't been real busy on the weekly shows. I think I've mentioned that before. They did a follow-up on the yellow icon accuracy, monetization, automatic reviews for those who get limited ads when they upload their videos. They automatically get the review. There was just a reminder on that. They did a dedicated video on that last week with Connor. So they just brought that in as a reminder. Now, they actually directly talked about leaderboard this week on Creator Insider, where that's the first time they've mentioned it. This obviously mentioned elsewhere. This is their first mention. They talked through the basic elements. Now, if you remember, I think 2 weeks ago, I recorded a leaderboard video during the live stream, and we went through and walked through it and looked at the parts. I've got that edited, ready to upload. So that's going to be the Monday upload this week. With an ending, because I didn't record an ending at the time. You might remember, if you remember 2 weeks ago, I tried to record an ending and fluffed it. So then I pre-recorded an ending this week, added it to the end of the video. So that's ready to upload. I'm just finalizing titles and thumbnails and all the rest of the doohickey that you got to do. Upload closed captions and all that wonderful stuff that you do now for auto dubbing. So that will probably be out Monday. And also, there's one we're going to talk about a little bit more in a second, is they're testing out search results that might be talking about something sensitive like sexuality or nudity, where they're actually going to blur out the thumbnails from the search results if they think that it could be any possible sort of questionable imagery that could come up. So they're gonna do that. I think I've got a dedicated page on that. So let's first jump to the first one, which is, I just thought I'd point this out because they're finally talking about leaderboard in other places. Like Matt Navarro this week is talking about leaderboard. He had his little say on that. I'm not going to read it through that because I've got a dedicated video coming out. And it's basically the one that you watched 2 weeks ago that we recorded here on the stream. So I'm not going to go over it. I just wanted to point out that you're going to see people talking about leaderboard in other places. It's showing up on more streams. there's probably a decent coverage. I've been in quite a few streams that's had it in different genres. So it's a decent sized experiment in my opinion. Let's continue on to the next one. This is to do with that third thing about blurring thumbnails. This one came directly from community posts on YouTube. So this is pretty cool. Sometimes we pick up some gems in there from channels like YouTube creators. Before I read it out, I need to take a... All right, it says, we're introducing a new thumbnail blurring feature for search queries that frequently return sexual themes. The goal of this update is to provide safer search experiences for all users by helping them avoid accidentally viewing content that may be sensitive. Because, you could be in there doing a search. Could be anybody can be using the search functionality and you put the wrong term in, or if something comes up that is maybe a bit untoward, maybe the person doing the search is underage. And in case they aren't, let's blur the thumbnail. For impacted search queries, all results will display blurred thumbnails. This will occur for specific search engines, and individual videos will not be targeted. For example, a video thumbnail may be blurred in one search query that's impacted, but not in another search query where that is not included in the update. So it's going to be based on what they're searching rather than the actual result itself. We don't anticipate this new feature will impact your channel's discoverability, since the video title, channel name, and description will all remain visible. Users will also have the option to unblur thumbnails if they choose. So it'd be like blurred. It'd be like, I'm trying to think of the platform that does it, where they blur an image. You can put like a not safe for work option on it. It might be, I think Discord do that. I think Reddit might do that as well. But you can sort of say, I know it's okay. I'm fine to look at that image, and then they'll unblur it, and then you can see what's in that image. So sounds like that's what they're applying it. There's actually a link to a support page which I haven't looked at and I didn't grab. So unfortunately, that might be something we might cover down the road if I find any more pertinent information. But it's an interesting thing just to be aware of, because I don't think it's going to impact most people here, but it might come up from time to time. Might try doing some risky searches and see if you can see some blurred thumbnails. All right. What's the next one coming up before I jump to it? Oh no, we'll do this one. I was going to jump back into the chat, but we'll do this one first. Interestingly, YouTube's reminding people who have signed up for Premium Lite that they're actually going to be still showing ads on YouTube Shorts and YouTube Music, but we already knew about the YouTube Music. I think the Shorts we might have known about already as well, because we knew that Premium Lite wasn't blocking all ads. It was just like ads on mainstream content, like long form videos, live stream type ads, but where you sort of delve across into YouTube Music, which is like a side app, and that is included with Premium Lite, things like that. It's not totally ad-free Premium Lite, but it is ad-free in most cases. But they put out basically a reminder saying, this is Google reminding you that as of the end of June 30th, you will still see some ads on the Shorts feed. For example, if you're scrolling through, there's going to be ads popping up. Maybe I'm assuming that it might be a little bit difficult to remove the ads that are like in that stream that's in that placement. I don't know. I'm assuming they probably could. So there's probably a reason for it. Maybe it's because the ads pay so little. They, want to keep them in. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for it. But they're certainly reminding people who have signed up for Premium Lite that, hey, this is not totally 100% ad-free. If you want that, go over to the full-size Premium. So I thought I would throw that one in there because I thought that one was interesting. Yeah, the last two topics, we're going to go into more detail on the headline topics of today's show. So we're going to come back to those in just a second. So what I'm going to do is jump back out here, put everything back on, and see what we've got in the chat. I don't know that leaderboard's zeroed itself out or whether it's just resetting after coming back. It says no activity. There we go. Oh, it's starting again. That's not good. It's supposed to be persistent. I'm not sure why that's not persistent. I'm going to have to look into that. Okay. We just reset things. You know what? If that's the case, if it's reset, it doesn't matter. Let's just turn it off. Let's not worry about it. It's a distraction. All right. Let's see if there's any comments, questions about the first couple of news articles or anything else people want to talk about. As you know, people can ask questions anytime. Sparky 107 is in the house. Welcome to the stream. Howdy, howdy. Scrolling. Sometimes they are stingy with the experiments. Stingy. I don't know, stingy or stingy? Stingy. I could read it either way. Let's see. Just looking for any questions. Say hello to people coming in, like Beanie Drawers, evening all. I just had an accidentally 2-hour nap and feel refreshed. Well, if you do have a 2-hour nap, you want to hopefully feel some sort of refreshment afterwards. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty alert. I was able to have a sleep in today, so I'm feeling pretty good. Let's see. Chantel says, yeah, I think we all knew about music and shorts ads already, but oh boy, some people are up in arms. Are they? I haven't seen fallout from that, but I just thought if you signed up for it, you'd like read what you get with it. Because we know there was some things that are in premium that you don't get it in premium light. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not overwhelmed with ads in YouTube Shorts. Sometimes I get the shorts that have like the sponsor bit, and because a lot of the stuff that comes through that might be in between shorts looks like a short itself. And TikTok are very good at that. They're doing that on YouTube as well. So, yeah, sometimes they're not as obvious that they're ads. They could be just like a regular short, but they're sponsored in some way. Yeah, it looked like it reset. Now my YouTube creator news logo is a little bit out of whack, but we'll run with it for the rest of the show. It doesn't matter. All right. I noticed that with the polls from Social 3 Ninja that they reset when they brought back into the stream. Yeah, because all I'm doing is taking them like offline on Ecamm side. I'm not doing, nothing's been triggered elsewhere. So it's surprising that they're resetting. And I even went with the one with the option to make it persistent for like between streams or they call it between sessions, which maybe, yeah, so maybe it's not working properly. Maybe I've checked another box in the permissions that sort of overrides that. But yeah, I'll have to play around. The few shorts that I do watch, I don't recall ever seeing ads surface to me. That's interesting. Maybe they're that seamless that you don't even know they're ads, like I was mentioning. We were having fun with your leaderboard. Okay. You know what? It's not hard for me to bring back. I'll put it in the back and it'll start accruing again. There we go. We'll let it roll. Oh, this is good. Here's John Lacey's in house. Good to see you. I noticed this when I was setting up my stream today. I noticed that I had an AI chat summary checkbox in my live settings for the first time this week. I noticed it for the first time this week too. I'm like, has it been there for longer? And I just haven't really paid attention. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at it right now. Where are we? I've got to go in here. It's in the custom. It's right in the live chat section. It says live chat, live replay with checkboxes. And they call it live chat summary. And if you hover over the question mark, it says new users joining a live stream. You know what? I should screen share this. So basically, I should be able to draw on here. right there. I'm using the old draw tool. I'm not using tube spanners. If you click on this one here, which means I have to get rid of that. If I hover, oh, no, I've got to exit. There we go. If I hover, it says new viewers join a live stream may see AI generated summary of the chat, which means if people come in late, and I just noticed that my face is getting covered up by the BMAC. We'll get rid of that. What that means is people come in late, they will basically, they're not going to summarize what's happened in the stream. They're going to summarize what's happened in the chat, so they can catch up with the chat conversation. I suppose it's going to be interesting to see if anybody who's coming in after the stream started, if they get any AI summary in the chat there. I've left mine checked just to see what will happen. I've seen it when they were testing it a while ago. When I've gone into a few streams, and this was like, I think last year. I don't even think it was this year. I think it might have been last year. So it looks like something they're quietly rolling out, which they tend to do. Live stream stuff gets rolled out and that very quietly, and it's out there before people actually start talking about it, or it gets mentioned officially by YouTube. Hence, like the leaderboard, it was showing up in people's live streams before anything else. Although there was a documentation on it, which was good. So yeah, that's an interesting one. So I'll have to see how that works and what's going on in terms of people, how well it summarizes. The thing is, the creator's not going to see it. Only the people, maybe that one person who's coming in late will see that summary, and that summary is probably going to be what's happened recently in the chat, just from what I've seen before. And so if they come in right at the end, they might get the summary of mainly the main things that happened sort of in that last 10-15 minutes or so. Maybe not what's happened at the start of the video of the live stream. And remember, they're summarizing the chat, not what I'm saying here on the stream. So yeah, that's an interesting one. We'll see how that one plays out. Come on, Doug, ain't you no stingy? Everyone say hello. Go to Classroom says, I got an email that I need to look at during my research this week. I got access to Camtasia Online. Okay, so it's like an online sort of editor, in the browser, I'm assuming, if it's Camtasia. That's interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it's very, from a streamer's side here, like I got no way of seeing what it's saying. So I'll be relying on people reporting back as they're coming in and say, oh, the AI said this, All right. Everyone's saying hello. Oh, it is called Camtasia Online. There we go. Nice. Michael Hosker's in the house. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Oh, number one, yes. Number one. Living in Omaha, David Matney's here. Good to see you. Good to see you tuning in. Brighton Bushy Tail from Roberto's stream last night. What you might have to do with the poll is to add it to every scene overlay so that when it switches scenes, it just stays on screen always. Well, it does, because I've got it set up as like a persistent overlay in Ecamm. So it's like all the other overlays. Unless I like manually take them off, they stay up all the time. So I can change scenes here. So if I take that off, you can see it there. So if I change to, say, this scene here, with the coming up, switch is okay for you to see that. It's not a problem. It persists there. I can change scenes. It'll persist. It's because I actually took it off, like unshown. I removed the overlay, the visibility basically in Ecamm. The fact that it doesn't remember that, or that it knows that I've done that, is very odd, because it's like that's what's happening on the Ecamm side. Maybe the website knows when somebody's viewing it or not. It's got some sort of detection on, because it's just a browser source. So that's interesting as to how that works. All right, so everyone get caught up, because we need to get to the main topics of the show. Yeah, John says, I don't think it's ever been available for me before. I think you're right, because I haven't seen it. And today was the first time I'm pretty sure that I've seen it. Yeah, it has been kicking around. They have been testing it for quite a while. So yeah, I agree. Legal Minded Friends, Karen Cole is here. Yes, you're finally here again. Let's see. Alice says that she's turned the summary off. It could be funny to see what it makes out of all the randomness. Yeah, it could be interesting. Some chats would be wild as to how the AI would summarize that. Oh, you're probably right. You're probably right. I need that. Thank you. I do remember hearing a rumor of being able to share pictures in comments. Yeah, I've not heard anything about it. That's the first time I heard that from, if you mean like from YouTube, like natively on YouTube's chat. That's interesting, if that's the case, because I haven't heard anything about that, but it'd be interesting. I think that would be a cool feature. Like some of these third-party services have ability for people to submit images that we can bring up using like the browser source, like we did with the comments and everything. So that is something that third-party streaming tools allow you to do, is create an optional landing page for people to do it. Sometimes they allow you to like do it with when you're like giving like a tip or a donation through like a PayPal or whatever, like a third party one where you have the ability to allow optionally, if they give a certain amount or just give it all, that they can attach a photo that would get shown with their comment, things like that. And obviously, as a streamer, you'd want the ability to vet the images before you put them live on the stream. That would be my only precaution with something like that. If you have something where you're doing a lot of visual things, then I think that's a really good thing, that to be able to have people submit images. It'd be good for a channel like Beanie Draws, for example. If you're doing like a live stream, a drawing live stream, people can submit their fan art, or people can submit the something that they've been working on this week, or anything like that. And you know, there's ability for them to send it to you, and then you can pull it up on screen and show that like live. I think that's pretty cool. yeah, that's right. If it's a different platform, it's like they're getting different features. They're not able to, you know, the cross chat thing is sort of limited to the tools that you're using. And in this case, if it's a YouTube tool, can't be used on a platform like LinkedIn. It's one of those things. It seems like it'd be a little bit like Snagit, but better for filming video, if I recall correctly. So it's like a Camtasia, like a Riverside FM type thing, maybe? Or is it just like more like Loom, where you can do your screen captures and stuff, and it records in the cloud? Or maybe a hybrid of both, Loom and Riverside. Interesting. American English with Brent is checking in. Welcome to the stream. That's the funny thing with shorts. When you hit like right up to the limit, you could upload something that was like right on 3 minutes, but if it's like a couple of frames over, it pushes it out to, in YouTube's terms, to 3 minutes and 1 second. So then it's no longer a short. So even if you're doing 3 minute shorts, you want to make sure that you're like 259 or something like that. Just so if it pushes the frames over a little bit when it's been processed, that it still allows it to be treated like a short rather than a long form video. Because then that becomes a long form video. You don't get the related links link, but you do. But if it becomes a long form video, then you can put links in the description. So that's you know, that's a plus. So you lose one option, you gain another. All right, what do we got going on here? And then if I can ever get to the bottom of this chat, then we'll get back to the news. Back to the news. BMac. Is that a reminder for me to put that back up? I know that it also drops a link, which is there. SMA Sky is here as well. Welcome to the stream. I gather the channel name has changed. Not my channel. No, I've been Doug Hewson YT for many years. When I'm in some other streams, if I'm in I have a different channel. It's just Doug Hewson. I do some watching on. Obviously, it doesn't have the YT on it. So sometimes if you catch me in a different stream where I'm just viewing a stream, I might be commenting under that name, which is possible. I'd love to be able to comment a reply of a screenshot of Canva with an arrow or something to be able to say it's here. Yeah, absolutely. Be able to quickly edit or throw in an arrow or draw a circle around it or a rectangle around it, you know, all that sort of stuff. Ooh. Great Classroom sending me something on the picture. Get started with Camtasia. I've got it on my phone, so I can't pull it up. Camtasia Online makes it easy to record, edit, and share high-quality screen recordings. Yeah, so it's like a Loom, but made by Camtasia. Yeah, like a Loom. Yeah, Camtasia. Yeah, because Camtasia has a Snagit, which is basically the screen recording part of Camtasia. That's pretty cool. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely like Loom, I would say. And it will probably can probably patch in your webcam as well and microphone to, you know, do your voiceovers, maybe do your picture-in-picture. I would imagine, because that's what I would do to make that would be the feature I would have available if I was doing that sort of thing. Okay, where are we? Images from random people on the internet. What could possibly go wrong? Absolutely. That's exactly what I mean. I saw the crown thingy on 2 different chats this week. That's for the leaderboard. Yeah, forget what it's called now, where you get XP. Leaderboard. My video on that's coming out on Monday, which I recorded 2 weeks ago on the stream. And then I've been able to edit that together. The reason why I didn't get it out straight away is because I was doing the other video that I put out this past Monday. The one with Roberto Blake on the thumbnail, where I took a channel review that Roberto did on me and used some ChatGPT and some other things to turn that into like a content plan. And that was sort of my video is like a thesis on how to do a content plan from a channel review. Not just listen to it and maybe implement one thing. Let's put it to use and get what we can out of this channel review. And that's what that video is about. So if you haven't watched that, that's the most recent video on the channel. Let's see. I'm trying to. Yeah, what it does. Well, this is from my observation of leaderboard so far, and I don't think I put this in the video because when I recorded it was 2 weeks ago when I haven't had time to observe how it works. But it looks like that. When you do your first comment, you get 25 XP, but then it levels up to, I think, 50 and 75 after a certain amount of comments. And then after that, it doesn't jump up to the next one, I think, which is 125 XP. I think there's a certain amount of comments before you hit the next XP level. But so it's not like every comment is going to get you an increase in XP. Whether... I haven't noticed whether super chats or the super stickers or the other gifting gives you a higher amount of XP or not. I haven't watched it enough to find out if that's the case when it comes to leaderboard. But it seems like when people have been commenting for a while, if they've been a regular commenter, they'll start jumping up into the next bracket and it will go up higher and it'll go up higher. But then I think the distance between brackets and how many comments you've got to get becomes larger. From what I could tell, that's just the vibe I'm getting from it. I haven't done the math on it. I'd have to like look at every comment, count up how many comments people are doing, which comment did it level up. You could go onto a live stream and just test it, note how many comments you're doing, and then note when your own XP goes up and start working out the brackets, because I think there is a pattern to it. All right. I'm going to try and scroll a little bit more. When Nick had the link allowing us to comment on a post, you could upload an image. Oh, that's in the when he had communities turned on, which is turned off now. So you could basically create a new post in his community, and I think that's what it was, because you could do like image posts. You do some of the post features like you can do on like a regular community post. If you were the creator, you can do image posts and regular text posts. I think there's one other type. I don't think you can do. I don't think you can do polls on communities yet, as just somebody in the community making a new post. But yeah, with those posts, you could upload an image, and that would just sort of live in that community section on the phone. You could only do it on the phone. In the back end of people's channels, it's very hard to, especially if you're on desktop, very hard to sort of moderate and to sort of navigate whether somebody's posted something appropriate, and you have to get maybe check to make sure, maybe post approval, different things like that. So I noticed that Nick had turned his off. He didn't tell me he turned it off, but I noticed he turned his off a little while back. And I think it's a good thing, because I was seeing some of the back end stuff on that, and it was just a handful. And I think it was very messy. I don't think it's cleared. I think it's presented well. I think YouTube need to go back to the drawing board on communities. I think they released it too early, in my opinion. That's just my opinion on communities. Just for the people who are testing it, because it's not rolled out to everyone. Like, I don't have it. I haven't had the ability to have that yet. So the communities feature, I think, needs a lot of work on YouTube's behalf before they roll it out to everybody. That is my opinion on that. Okay. Let me have a look. Maybe Classroom sent me something else I need to look at. Okay. Look at your, okay, you're scrolling through. Okay, you're scrolling the whole. I need to blow that up so I can see it a bit bigger. Okay, it's looping so I can see it. Oh, looking at it on my phone screen. Let me just tip it sideways. There we go, it's bigger now. Oh, it's even got video editing. Okay, I gotcha. Some sort of Google Docs integration? Is that what I saw? Powerful video editing. Okay. Oh, so you can do a fair bit online with that. Interesting. Interesting. Turn that back. All right. Yeah. Sometimes you just want to do something really basic and all that. So yeah, I find I can do some stuff on my iPhone pretty easily. But if I have to like screen record something and then I want to annotate as screen recording, that's hard, because that means I have to then somehow still put it into like some sort of video editing software to add an arrow or add a circle or zoom in on something. I find I still have to do some like basic editing where I can add that. So I either jump on my computer to do that, or if I can, I'll jump into one of the mobile editors. But it's still like, once you start to get into like, we have to jump into any sort of editor, it's a bit of work. Now, if it's a still image, you can annotate and stuff fine in like the images. You can like mark it up and draw on it and add arrows and all sorts of things on an iPhone, at least. Anyway, I'm sure you can do that on Android as well. You can annotate stuff for an image, but when it comes to video, it's a little bit more complicated. Enfield Road, Loud in the Loft is here. Welcome. Okay, there's a question here. Do you think YouTube will gamify live streams like Twitch? I think they're heading that way, in terms of that's what they're trying to go for with leaderboard. I think there's some more interesting things they could do. I think leaderboard is cool for like in a group setting where you've got a decent number of people in your stream, I think it's okay. But yeah, I think they're heading that way, but not overly, because some streams, they know that for the gamers that's great, but people who might be doing fun stuff. But obviously, people who are doing like a little bit more formal stuff or teaching, they don't want all the features, so they definitely want to have the option to use or not use each feature. Like, don't force. Like, I don't think they should be forcing leaderboard on people from a career. Well, obviously, people can opt out from certainly as a viewer from that. But I think a creator should have the option to be able to have the leaderboard on or not have it on any set stream. Right now, if they're in the test group, they get it automatically. I'm not aware that they can turn it off. Somebody who's got it needs to tell me that, but I don't believe that they can. We would need to get back to the main points of the show. Main subject, I should say, is what I'm looking for. I'm skipping through the comments real quick to get to the bottom. And Peter Dell's in the house as well. Welcome to Peter. Okay, let's get back to where we need to get back to. And the last screen where we were on, and I'm just going to take everything off manually here. I'm going to I'll leave the ticker on the bottom for now. I just have to get rid of the BMAC there. That was the last one we're on. So we're going to move to the next one. We're going to talk about, first of all, something that has been alerted to us as being something that YouTube is working on in the background, and maybe even some creators are in the very, very, very limited test. And it is A/B title testing. And this is going to work in conjunction with the A/B thumbnail testing. It says you can run multiple titles on a video at once and see which one performs best with viewers, similar to how that works on thumbnails. The vidIQ channel did a video on this about a day ago. Rob talked about this. He had a little bit more information. I saw this, and then I saw Rob's video. But all we have right now is that this is in limited testing. Got enough evidence to know that there's something that they're working on. Not that they've publicly acknowledged it. A couple of channels that vidIQ channel talked to, where they got the screenshots from, to confirm that they're part of the test, I suppose. So that's happening there. So they're very limited. So that is one thing to keep in mind, is the people who have been asking for being able to do both testing titles and thumbnails. That should be coming at some point. Timing on that, I have no idea. It's so limited that YouTube isn't acknowledging it yet. So it's probably very early alpha test. Okay, and related to that, but more related to auto dubbing, is the next story, which I've got a couple of screenshots for. So let's go to that. vidIQ broke this in the last 12 hours. YouTube is testing multi-language thumbnails for localized videos. So basically, if you've got your videos going out in more than one language, so English, Spanish, Japanese, etc., you will be able to very soon upload a dedicated thumbnail for each. So if it has text on it, like images can communicate across language, but if you have text on it in English and it's still the thumbnail showing to the Japanese people, wouldn't it be better to have that text in Japanese? Have the ability to upload a Japanese format thumbnail that'll match up with the Japanese title and Japanese description and the Japanese auto dubbing. Okay, and we've got a little bit of information. Now, they linked to an article that was actually in a paywall, so I couldn't get the whole article, but I got the beginning of the article. So we're going to look at that right now. And the articles come from, I've covered it up. It's, I should acknowledge where it's come from. I didn't keep a screenshot of it. When I loaded, I was going to load it up in the screen share, but I just got like the paywall and I couldn't get past that. But on the mobile app, I could see the beginning of the article. It says, and it's covered up by the thing, but I'll read it out. YouTube is testing a new feature to help videos travel around the world. So interesting framing there in the title. It says at the bottom, YouTube. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be sneaky because I don't want to lose that data there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to move it down. Now I'm gonna move it up. There it is. YouTube is releasing a new feature to help creators spread their content around the world. Okay, I'm gonna drop that right to the bottom. I'm gonna lock that. Next scene. The tool, which will be rolling out in the next few days. So that's an interesting one. If this article's to be believed, the ability to upload different thumbnails per language is coming in days. So if you have already have access to auto dubbing, then you'll have access to this, according to this article. Lets creators upload different thumbnails for each video that is dubbed into a different language. A company spokesperson confirmed to Business Insider. Okay, this is from Business Insider. Just to acknowledge where this article come from. The aim is to help influencers localize their thumbnails based on a viewer's language. The feature is available to a subset of creators who have access to YouTube's dubbing technology, which we know is everybody who's in the YouTube partner program with a few other minor eligibility requirements. And part of the quote that we've got here is, we're always testing more ways for creators to reach new audiences. In this case, a handful of creators are able to localize their thumbnails for videos with multiple language audio tracks, the YouTube spokesperson said. It's interesting when they say YouTube spokesperson, because they're not quoting a specific person. Usually, if you're quoting a source, you'll say such and such and their title from YouTube. This is a YouTube spokesperson, which means that they're saying it off the record. Somebody's leaking something, possibly. I'm not sure. Now, I don't have the rest of this article because it's behind a paywall, but this is enough of the gist to get an idea of what might be going on. So anybody who already has the auto dubbing feature, be on the lookout for this when you're setting up your videos and doing your uploads. So when I do my next upload, I'll be checking this out, because this says in the next few days. I don't know if the next few days means literal days or whether it's like the storytelling days, like days to come, like in the next 60 to 90 days. But few days means few days. Like few days is less than a week in my book. So it's interesting to see how this is going to work and how quickly this is going to roll out. And if it indeed is going to hit everybody who's got auto dubbing already, because if that's the case, and it would make sense that they'd be able to do that, because they're already doing that with titles and descriptions in those languages if you're doing auto dubbing. So yeah, thoughts on that? I'm going to jump back to this real quick, take a sip, and we'll jump back into the chat. The way it sounds is they will only let 3 for the testing, including thumbnails, not 3 each thumbnail and 3 each title, as I understood Rob's video. Yeah, that wasn't super clear in Rob's video. I did see the screenshots for the brief parts where they put it up, and there was like options to do thumbnails, titles, or a mixture of both. And yeah, if it's a mixture of both, is it 3 of each? If it's 3 of each, are they going to match that? Is it going to be a title matched with a thumbnail, or is it going to like interchange both the title and thumbnail, so you can get like whatever the combinations are? What's that? It's 3. Is that 9 different combos? Or is it 7, 8? Let's see. Karen Cole says, I hardly get any community post replies, so I am basically using as a notepad for organizing where I see stuff I might need later, new laws, or who testified in court, so I can find it easier. Yeah, it's funny. Community posts, some can really get going. Sometimes people, if it's a poll or a quiz, some people interact. A lot of the people who interact don't even comment. Sometimes I think there's ways to go about like inciting or sort of encouraging a comment by the way that a question might be phrased, or maybe an option in a poll that is like the last option is to, you want to choose something else, let me know what that is by commenting. Like I've done ABC, and for D you say, if it's something else that's not ABC, let me know what it is in the comments, and you get them to comment like that. Yeah, so getting people to comment can be tough. certainly for people just to like even interact with the poll with the post can be tough sometimes, especially if it's just text. That's probably the least feedback that you get back from somebody else is in that manner. So SMS Guy says, I'll have to update my script that generates thumbnails for my solar systems to adjust for different languages. Yeah, I think so. Oh, okay. Oh, that's the follow-on from that one. Yes. YouTube Studio is going to be a mess to sort through anyone who gets loads of dubbed views. Yeah, I haven't looked because I've had a few videos out now that have auto dubbing. I think my last several. I haven't gone back to look at stats on those yet. So give them time to bake there. Particularly, I need to go back to the one that a few videos back that is still ticking over a lot of views. I'm trying to remember what topic it was on, but it's still ticking over quite well, like hundreds of views every 48 hours. Still showing up my top video in the last 48 hours list. So that's still ticking over. So it'd be interesting to see how that's performing in other languages. Looks like there's some discussions going on in... That's not the one I want to click on. Hey, Peter, I've never been banned from YPP. I've helped people who have been banned from YPP. One was Sal, who has a plane spotting channel, which I made a video about. But no, I've never been banned from YPP. What process do you take to come up with brand new video ideas? This is an interesting question, and that's one that I think it's like I often rely on the news for some of my content. Obviously, new YouTube features, stuff like that. That is one sort of bucket that I'm waiting on something to happen to respond to. So that's like more of a timely, less of an evergreen. Although some topics, if I'm doing like a tutorial or first walkthrough, could also become evergreen. So for me, that I leave an element of space open for that, but then I don't sit down and work out a lot of things sort of in advance and brainstorm ideas. I've done that in the past, and sometimes I'll have lists. I've got lists of videos floating around in different apps, notes and Trello and different places where I've written down video ideas which I've never executed on. I should probably go revisit those to see if they still apply, maybe delete them if they don't. Because sometimes my content direction, your content direction sort of takes tax. You go in a little bit of a direction because of either a season or because you're sort of changing your framing of what your channel's about, which can happen from time to time. You can tack your channel in a slightly different direction, and so I might have ideas there that aren't applicable anymore. But coming up with new ideas, I tend to wait for inspiration to make a video rather than have a long list to work through, because usually I don't have time to make a lot of pre-planned videos, but I need to plan more. And I think after getting that review from Roberto that I talked about in last week's video, or this week's video, the one just gone, I need to sort of be a little bit more mindful in my planning. So coming up with video ideas, a lot of it is right now, it's just inspiration. And sometimes I get my ideas from watching other content, in the sense of reading comments on another channel that might be in my niche, and then see that they're getting a lot of questions about a certain topic. Well, that's right in my wheelhouse. It's stuff I talk about on my channel, so maybe I can address that. Sometimes it's a short. Sometimes some of those sort of prompts will prompt a short where I can answer a question quickly, short and quickly, so it becomes a short rather than a long form video. But then some of those will roll out and become a long form video. So yeah, I need to like just make a time to like be inspired and brainstorm. And sometimes I get ideas in the weirdest places, and I just either have to remember them or figure out a way to make a note of them. Maybe pull out my phone and write a note somewhere, and hopefully I can get back to it and do something with it. So Salvage Bear, no, he had a viral incident happen that he recorded, and people took his footage and used it elsewhere. And I think part of that reason is because then it looks like it was all everybody's reusing the same content, so it sort of got lumped in. Just had to get them to understand that he's a live streaming channel and that he's filming these planes live and live streaming them. He just had to show that process in a appeal video, and his was a slam dunk in my opinion. I did put in a good word for him on socials for in terms of YouTube and let I actually let Renee know about that one. Like, I don't go to bat for just anybody. I have to know that I know the content well enough or their channel well enough that I know that they're doing the right thing, and then it's a misunderstanding and I can point that out. But at the same time, I still had to walk him through that appeal process video, because that's the way you get through the door for that particular problem. Because it's not that he was actually reusing the content, it's that they didn't know whether or not he was reusing the content, so they couldn't tell that he was the originator of that content. And that's usually the problem with some of the reused content situations is it might be that they know that it's their content because they made it, but YouTube, it's unclear to them, so they just need that clarity. So that's why the behind the scenes sort of appeal video that explains how they make their content. Once YouTube understands how they make their content and that they make it themselves, then they're good to go. They're remonetized and off they go. All right, and I know I've got to be mindful of time right now, but we've got a few minutes. Mokososki says, how does one use copyright licensed material on the channel? If you're using anything that belongs to somebody else, ideally you want to get permission. You want to reach out somehow. Like for music, there's ways of doing that. They get licensing using services like Licked or places like that, or if it's background music, getting something that's either like Create a Mix, which is free and has been cleared for use for us as creators, or if you get a service like Epidemic Sound where you're licensing background music and sound effects and things, and where you've got a license, your channel gets whitelisted and you don't have any problems with those. When it comes to using other third-party content, I think the issue then becomes what's the opinion of the person who owns the copyright. Some people are really open to allowing different things. If it's like a bigger studio, like your Disney's or your Warner Brothers or your music labels like Warner or Universal or all those, they want to get their piece of the money, particularly from the music side. So then you need to you cross your I's, dot your T's when it comes to music. When it comes to video content, it's going to come down to how you're using the content, how much you're using it, and different things, because there is an argument for fair use, but that argument needs to be made in court. If people understand fair use, if they understand that you're using it in a fair use way, then usually you'll get a pass. But there's going to be exceptions. They still have the right, as a copyright holder, to say no. And so you got to work out whether that's a risk you want to take to try and make it fair use and use it in a fair use fashion, and in a manner where that you're not just really just taking advantage of the IP, or whether you're actually transforming it in some way, making it educational or providing profound commentary or different things like that. So there's a lot of things that you can do, and that's the thing. Yeah, I don't want to get into what AI is a big topic indeed. But yeah, if you film your own visuals, and if you're talking about getting removed from YouTube Partner Program and you film your own visuals, that's where you have to be very clear as to, I filmed this and I need to show them specifically how you film them. There are a very specific set of rules that you have to do for that appeal video for them to accept it. Has to be, can't be any longer a certain length. I don't remember them all off the top of my head, but they're in my video. You need to display the link to the channel on screen so they know what channel you're talking about. But you need to be able to show them your content creation process, how you make this type of footage. So just depends on what it is. So you virtually have to, if you're out doing it somewhere, like the plane spotters, you're out of the airport, you need to show your setup. Here I am I'm at the airport. This is exactly where I'm at SFO or somewhere. Here's my tripod, and we're sending this live to YouTube, and here I am. I'm the camera operator. I'm catching these things live. If it was something you were pre-recording and editing later, you could go out to that location and see. This is what I do. I come out with my camera. I record this thing out here wherever I am outside. We do all that. If you're doing macro photography or something, just show them behind this. It's basically like a behind the scenes, but explaining your process along the way. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. The wheel fell off the United 777. It was departing San Francisco. I think it was going to Japan somewhere. I'm not sure if it was going to. It's going to one of the, I think it was going to one of the Tokyo airports, and then they had to divert and swing back around and land in Los Angeles. So they had to burn fuel anyway. So they went and landed at Los Angeles. They got it, and then went there. So because I know Sal was catching that at takeoff. Then what was landing in Los Angeles? Airline Videos Live was streaming, and they caught the landing when it came back in at Los Angeles, and they had the emergency services out following the airplane down the runway and pulling off to the side and checking the set of wheels. Now the 777s have 2 sets of 6 wheels at the back, and it was just one of the 6 wheels on one side that came off, and it basically on takeoff it came off and it landed in the car park, the staff car park at San Francisco, and I think it crushed a couple of cars, but nobody got hurt as far as I'm aware. There's nobody in the car. Obviously, this car park, people are at work, but it sort of bounced and did some damage. All those things. Cha-Ching King is here using Epidemic Sound. And that is true too. That is good information. That's why when it comes to anything that's legal, it's like, it's not set in stone, even though it is set in stone in different jurisdictions, different laws, and then it comes down to how an attorney is able to argue the law, precedents, case law, different things. And it varies. Like what you could get away with in the US is different to what we would get away with in Australia. But the overarching thing is that YouTube is a US company, so they are, even if somebody is a creator in a different country, they're still got to be applicable to the laws of the country that the video is being hosted and shown in. So if you've got a lot of viewers in the US, and there still has to meet requirements there, and really does need to meet requirements here as well. So and that's why videos they're allowed to be shown in certain countries, and in other countries they're barred because of whatever's in the content. So it can't be shown in like one singular country, won't allow that content for whatever reason, whether it's a copyright issue, or if it's a music licensing issue, whether it's the type of content that it is. There's all things going on. Okay. Oh, there's Loquaza is in the stream. Welcome. What good clicks per impression, and how does one know whether a thumbnail works? The best way to know whether a thumbnail works would be you could use the thumbnail testing, the test and compare, and test 3 different thumbnails at the same time. And if you're getting enough impressions, of course, you'll get a result. Obviously, if you're getting low impressions already, generally, like you're just starting out, you're not getting a huge amount of views per video just yet because you're starting out, then you just have to go by feel. You just have to go by more of a general response. Like click-through rates are factors, and YouTube says that most videos on YouTube are somewhere between 2 and 10%. So if you're hitting like over 10%, but you're only getting very little views and impressions, then it's not really an indicator. Like a better indicator is when you're getting it more at scale, because you will start at a high number and it will drop over time. Even the like huge videos, if you get a 1 million view video, but then your CTR's at like 2.2, that's still a win because you've got 1 million views, because it has performed, and over time it's gone a wider audience, so the CTR's dropped over time. So you might have started out at 8 or 10 or something like that, but over time it will drop. So don't take the CTR in isolation. Never look at the CTR number and think my video is bad because my CTR's 2. But maybe you got 100,000 views. It's like, well, views trump CTR in my opinion. That it performed with an audience and people clicked on it and watched it is more of a win than the CTR number. So that is something to keep in mind when it comes to click-through impression rate. But to know for a thumbnail, Wes, you can use the test and compare feature to see which one of the 3 performs the best. That is probably on YouTube itself. That's the easiest way to do it. Otherwise, you've got to get in, and if you're manually swapping out thumbnails to test on the same video, because really testing different videos at different times, you can't compare like an orange with an apple. They're both fruit, but one's an apple, one's an orange. I might make a video about Fortnite, and then I make a video about how to upload a YouTube video. They're both videos, but they're not the same video or about the same topic even. The other thing to keep in note, the thumbnail is only one aspect of it. This is the most important thing. It's not the title, it's not the thumbnail, it's the topic of the video. Does the topic have mass appeal or low appeal? You might be like, that topic might be very niche, so you're never going to get a lot of views and impressions. You're going to get, there's a ceiling, what they call a total addressable market. There's a ceiling. So if your topic is very niche, then it is restricted to the amount of impressions it's going to get. YouTube will keep trying, keep putting it out there, but the response you get is going to be determined by how many people are actually interested in that topic. So if you hit a wide-ranging topic, say, it's something like a court case, it might be like, remember the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp court case, huge in the news at the time. It was like big, people covering it, millions of views, hundreds of millions of views, covering the case daily, news gossip shows, like TMZ type stuff, channels doing court coverage, channels doing like talking about the legal arguments, just like pop culture channels talking about this. The topic was huge, a lot of interest about it, mass appeal. You could say that like some of Mr. Beast stuff is mass appeal as well, because it's like it's interesting to a broad audience. It's entertainment, a broad audience entertainment. Now, when you get to very specific content that is about something, like I'm making videos about being a handyman, for example, a bit like Larry here, handyman type topics. That's a subset of people who are interested in that. Not everybody's interested in that. There's people who are going to be diehard into that. There's going to be people on the peripheral, on the outside of that might be more interested in more general home handyman stuff around the home, just so they can do their own maintenance. But there's going to be people who are like in the trades who are interested. So there's different levels even in that group as to what would be like a very niche topic and what would be a more broad appeal topic. So topics, most important. The thumbnail and the title are purely the packaging that gets you interested in watching the video. So that's vital, because it could, like if you get a present, somebody gives you a present, the first impression you have is how it's wrapped, what's it wrapped in, does it look appealing? Maybe you can tell something about the size of the thing, but all you have to go with is the packaging. It's not until you rip it open and get inside that present that you know what the present is, and you know what you're going to get. At least with a title and a thumbnail, you're hopefully being told what the video is about so that when you get in there, it matches up. If you tell them one thing in the title and thumbnail and give them something completely different in the video, then that's a disconnect. And then you might get those people who click away earlier. They're saying, this isn't what I thought it was. And that also comes down to the thumbnail and the title being very clear on what it is the video is about, or what it is that the video is going to talk about. I've done videos where I've talked about a certain topic. People come in and thought that it was going to be about something else. But sometimes that's in their own perception though, because they perceived they were searching for something in their own intent. But I was talking about a similar topic, but it was adjacent to that. So when they came in, it wasn't actually what they were looking for. And sometimes that's the viewer's fault because they're not sure, or maybe it's my fault because I wasn't clear enough. So there's a few pointers. I'm going to get carried away and I'm going to run out of time. At the same time, because I need to refresh, I'm going to hit this.
Subscribe.
That's not the one, but you can listen to that.
For more tech for content creation.
It's the last call.
It's the last call. We got to call it because we're running in overtime. As Drink O'Clock, Doug Hewson, and 15 to Nimino O'Clock. Yeah. Speaking of which, Nick Nimmin is coming up. Nick and D coming up in, what we say, 12 minutes. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, we need to wrap things up. So let me let you know what's going on today. Real quick, let me get that off the screen. Nick Nimmin's 9 a.m. Eastern today. That's coming up, as I said, 12 minutes from now. Right after that, 12 p.m. Eastern, right after Nick and D are done, you can join Andrew Ken over on the Opus Clip channel. Talking about growing using Opus Clip. That's what's coming up today. And then, press the wrong button. There we go. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, Chantel will be doing her weekly live stream, talking about all things YouTube and or live streaming. So make sure you go join her on her channel. And of course, I'll be back here at the same time next week. The first time we've seen this. That wasn't supposed to come up black. But a big shout out to Dave Matney for dropping the $5 super chat. With the big thanks. The big thanks there. And thank you for the $5 super chat. Much appreciated. I need to remember that creators can go over to their chat thing and click the heart on the super chats. Something that I had previously forgotten to do. All right, let's see if there's any last comments or concerns in the chat because we need to wrap things up. We're doing a speed run. Somebody's talking about pineapple on pizza. Is that something about pizza? Yeah, pineapple on pizza. I'm not wading into that today because it's last call, y'all. All right, and John, we'll see you later. We're wrapping things up here anyway. We need to reset and get things done. Hope everyone has a great week. I've got stuff everywhere on this screen, so I'm just going to go to a cleaner screen. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. It's a very short last call because I've rambled. Talked a little bit about that click-through rate and videos and stuff at the end. Stretching it out. We're gonna get things tied up here so we can get on over to Nick's channel for the stream. Remember, you'll roll over to their chat automatically if you stick around in the chat, and that's how it works basically. And I was just about to say Creative Classroom has won the thing, and Chantel's just pipped her at the post for first place, but you're both tied on 31 points. So big shout out to both Chantel and Jennifer at Creative Classroom for our little test experiment today. And I keep clicking on things. All right. Well, this is Doug. I'll catch you later. And where's my end screen? That's